Hello, you're on the Bad Heart Developer channel, where I start to develop a large web application for musicians. This video is more talky, but it is necessary because I need to clarify some of my decision about architecture and infrastructure of future project. But there also will be practical tips, especially for Gitlab users. First rule, what I want to say: front-end and back-end, two separated projects. Back separately, front separately. First of all, it's allow hiring and working separately with back-end developers and front-end developers. Full-stack developers are expensive and not always available, especially for your technology stack. Secondly, it will teach you and your team to think in terms of client-server concepts. Web front-end, client. Android is client. iOS application is client. Some widget on another website is a client. All users of your public API is a client. It is very important, because many developers do not understand why exists versioning in API routing. They put V1 as a mantra, and it is cool if they do. Of course, this approach has problems. Laravel sells everything in the box for a reason. And the same goes for WordPress. It became popular for a reason. Communication between front-end and back-end and vice versa is very complex process, and you have to live with that understanding. Of course, it can be faster if you got a perfect planning by technical manager who knows back-end and front-end and all clients' technologies, or by hiring full-stack developers. But full-stacks is not an option if we get many clients like native application, for example. Another problem what I see is deploy back front mobile and clients is not an easy task, but there are solutions. Next architecture question is monolith or microservices. Short answer: for my specific project, monolith, but long answer: microservices make sense if you understand why they are in the project. For example, if you know workload, you have a large team, and it makes sense to isolate everyone by services and etc. Why is this important? Microservices have a good marketer. There was a time in outsourcing when employer didn't even talk to you if you didn't have experience with microservices. Got the point of madness. It's a fake story based on real life. Hypothetical project about selling sausages in the local market of Portugal had a dozen microservices that physically could not be handled by those developers. The microservice of product list called the cart microservices, which called other order microservices, which required a service of emails and etc. And of course I understand why the developer team do this. They gained a good experience and grew as professionals. The question is, what is gave to owner or business if you want. Business doesn't need it. He paid and overpriced for the development, to then paid and overpriced for the support, and have a huge hiring problem for the rest of the project lives. But let's back to Monolith. I add but to it, which means being ready to extract some functionality into a separated service. To do this, modularity and clear interaction scheme between modules is necessary. Even in this case, the process of separation into a service will not be simple, but possible. For now, keep in mind that in case of necessity, we will be able to extract separated functionality into separated service within a reasonable time. Also, modern project contains many solutions that are already in services. We will talk in a video about containerization or dockerization. Couple words about Microfrontend. Firstly, I have no experience, and secondly, I don't believe that it's possible to manage a lot of front-end technologies with adequate resources. And in my case, it will not benefit the project or the users. For the record, I considered such idea is promising, but with the support of browser developers, which is currently not realistic. Okay, now we can start a little practical part of this video. I use Gitlab in my projects, and I strongly recommended it to you. It has very cool infrastructure, constantly evolving, and can be self-hosted. And the DevOps functionality is incredible. In Gitlab, a lot of functionality is built on project groups. So, I create a group with a project name, everything is simple here, name and private, not necessary. I create a subgroup for a back. The same will be for the front. This is important, is subgroup, not a project. because there will be a lot of everything inside, from infrastructure stuff like Docker images to local forks of open source packages with necessary edits. This will help to easy manage team access to project, configure CI/CD, add global variables, and etc. and etc. It's not obvious at first, but believe me, you will be thanks for this structure. And now I can create a project. Name is simple, app. Here I'm gonna save my Laravel or Next projects. Remove the checkboxes for initial readme file and static security tests. About static security tests we will talk in the end of this video. Now I can create empty Laravel project and make first commit. And here I got some attention points. Please add information about yourself to Git. Solo developers often forget about this, and after then there was a mess in history. Next point, main branch, now main, not master. Please accept it and use it. It may offend someone who might be your investor. There should not be anything offensive in Git and code. No jokes, no jargons, commit message, function names, variables, all of this will eventually be available. You can remember how CD Projekt Red labeled everything related to China. All developers commit on Twitch. These are all scandals that waste resources. In general, God may respect everyone who defends their rights, even for branch naming. Because those who don't defend their rights come into my country and die. Next rules. First commit is clear framework without changes, without editings. Everything else is code. Code requires review. Project team should be familiar with the code. And personal advice. You make the first commit personally. I know viewer really wants to delegate this, because it's 30 seconds job, but believe me, the average junior without questions will dive into the code because someone didn't work on his Windows 98. Make some changes and make the initial commit. You will find these changes about in a year, parsing the framework, documentation, programming language and yourself, because you choose all of this. Last big rule for today. No one, even you, even me, do not push code into main branch. In GitLab, go to the settings, repository, protected branch, allow to push and merge, and set no one. If you wanna push some code, create merge request, you and team can review it, have ability to roll back it if it needed, and can see the history of changes. And of course, dirty, untested code should not go anywhere. And the last one for today. GitLab has ready-made presets, templates, with static code analyzer, vulnerabilities, scanners, detect secrets. GitLab suggested to enable it when I creating a project. They are cool, I really recommend it to use it, but if you have unlimited version of GitLab. For free versions, they are useless, because they don't show any vulnerabilities or secrets. Test pipelines do not stop if something happens, and do not make some warning to users. It just saves finite problems into artifacts file. And if you don't go to this file manually, you will not see any problem. In future video I will show how to detect secrets for free, and of course make some vulnerabilities scanners. But if you are product owner and work with outsourcers, I really recommend using the ultimate versions. This is generally advice on working with outsourcers. Usually we are from a poorer country than yours, and $20 per month seems like a lot of money to us, and we unconsciously try to save business money, your money, even if ultimately this money will pay off faster than researching for a free analog. It's not just about GitLab. I talk about payment idea for teams or some server ability. It is all for today. No matter if I was useless or helpful, please support Ukraine. Russia is a terrorist state. Russian army tried to kill me, kill my loved ones. So yes, I don't give a fuck of likes, subscribes and etc. Please support Ukraine. Thank you. Goodbye.